for him. Just like that. I'm kicking off Twitter. Oh, that's a good sign. Kayla.
What's that?
That you're bye Matt. That you're drinking the same drink. Is that your go-to drink?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, because in your interview that you did with your two coaches that I was watching the podcast, their name slipped me right now. You were drinking that same drink.
Yeah.
I see continuity.
It's just a latte.
Where are you?
At my house.
In what country?
I live in Florida, which is its own country.
And I'm in California, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's also its own country.
When am I going to move to Florida?
Probably soon.
Where do you start with Kayla Harrison? So those of you who are piling into the live view right now, you may be looking at the greatest female fighter who ever lived. Time will tell. Some people might get upset that I'm even saying that, but no one would argue the fact that if you had to pick the future, you are staring at it. You're also looking at someone who took a journey to get there that is indicative of greatness, but that no parent would. Man, it's quite. I don't know if conundrum is the word or paradox but everyone wants greatness for their kids. Every parent in the world would want Kayla Harrison to be their child, and yet no parent in their right mind would want their kid to take the journey. So everyone knows that I am a huge fight fan and that I leverage my fame in the CrossFit community to slowly get out of interviewing you nutballs who exercise for a living to slowly pick off fighters one by one and get them on my show. So here I am, excited to have Kayla Harrison on the show. And then as I start researching her, I come across, she has a book. I'll read about it and try to impress her before she comes on the show. And I read this book. I have 3 little boys, by the way, two 5-year-olds and a 7-year-old. The book is called Fighting Back. So we will get to this. This book changed my life. It's weird. I was like, can I recommend this book?
You absolutely can and
should. Tell me why.
You absolutely can and should.
Tell me why. Because it changed my life, but I'm like, man, tell me why.
Yeah, I mean, so for those of you who don't know, I was sexually abused by my first judo coach from the ages of 8 to 16. And, we can talk about that. I'm not shy. I'm not, I feel like having the conversation is the way we stop it from happening. So we can talk about that as much or as little as you want. But part of my journey and part of, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I believe that I was given 2 gold medals. I was given this platform. I was given this opportunity. And I love what I do. And it's very selfish and it's an amazing thing. But I would really be missing the whole point of everything if I didn't do my part to try and change the world a little bit. So the book is a big part of my purpose, I feel like, on this earth. It's a big part of why I even chose to do MMA is to have a bigger platform, to have a bigger reach, to talk to people like you about the book. So it's not a memoir and it's not a textbook. It's kind of a combination of the two. It uses my story, my actual journal entries from the abuse.
So those are the actual journal entries.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
yeah. I assumed they were, but that was one of the things I wanted to clarify. Wow.
Yeah. So it uses those as sort of like a guideline, and it's co-written with 2 psychiatrists from McLean Hospital who are world-renowned in the PTSD field and work with victims and survivors all the time. So Blaze and Cynthia really, they do a really good job, I feel like, of putting it in layman's terms and talking to you about like what is grooming, and why kids don't talk, and how the court process can be equally as damaging, and what are some ways you can talk to your kids, what are the proper ways to approach them, and It's a guideline. It's a book that I think every parent should read. I think every parent, teacher, social worker, doctor, police officer, should read and know how to talk to kids about stuff like this. We have all kinds of material on stranger danger and bullying and say no to drugs, but we don't really talk about what you should do if someone close to you tries to take advantage of you, or if you're a kid and you maybe like, funny tummy feelings and things like that. It's just a matter of educating our society one day at a time, one step at a time. And I think this book is a big step in the right direction. I'm also working on a curriculum for the book to be in seventh grade health class.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would love for it to be in the seventh grade. I think that's the appropriate age. I mean, obviously younger. I haven't written a book for younger kids yet, but that's also in the pipeline. Eventually, I'd like to write a book for even younger kids. But I have a lot of really good ideas about how I would like for this to tie into like just mental health in general. Obviously, sexual abuse is very prevalent still, and it was my hurdle, right? It was my demon, sexual abuse. I was sexually abused. And that was the thing that I had to overcome to become the hero of my own story. But everyone has something in life that they have to overcome. Everyone has something that they have to work to get through to become the hero of their own story. So really, I would like the curriculum to talk about sexual abuse and to educate our kids. But at the end, if I could do it right and work it right, I would love for every kid to have to write their story. Tell me your story and tell me what you're trying to overcome and tell me how you're going to overcome it, and kind of just, I don't know, start to change the culture of our youth. I think that I could talk about this all day. I think that we have a
Go do it.
unique opportunity to everyone is born with limitless unlimited potential. Everyone is born with the unique opportunity to become whoever they want to be, and life and social status and shitty circumstances and parents and not parents and abuse and no money and all these things that the world throws at you come in and play a role in who you're going to become. But what if it didn't? What if it was just up to you to decide? And then you decided and then you did it, and I think that kids should know that that's possible. I was I
Is that
was
possible, or is that really the only way? Is that what's going on here?
I
Right?
mean, yeah.
Like, if
Yeah.
you choose a shitty life, you're gonna get a shitty life. If you choose a good life, you get a good life.
Good life. Yeah.
But some of you might be, well, oh, that's easy for you to say, Kayla. You're multiple-time national champion. You're two-time Olympic gold medalist in 2 different Olympics, and the first American to win the gold medal in judo. But it's actually quite the opposite. It's quite hard for her to say, because she took the journey. And if everything went perfect, it's one of the hardest journeys you can take. And
Mm.
actually, man, one part of me wants to say nothing went perfect. Going back to the memoir, are you going to come out with a memoir?
I'd like to, yeah, eventually. I mean, I still
Please, please, please.
I journal every night. I write down my thoughts usually a couple times a day. And it's something that I think about quite a bit, but I mean, I just feel like my story is so far from done. It's a work in progress, I guess. My memoir is
Make
still,
it long and fun.
I can do
Please,
that. Well,
please make
my
it
life
long and fun.
hopefully is going to be long and fun. So
How old are you?
I'm 31.
It's crazy to have you on the show. People, as I posted on my YouTube and on my Instagram that you were coming on the show, of course, a flood of people started being like, "Oh my God, look at this!" There's a lot of hype building around you. Your name's
Mhm.
come out of Dana's mouth a bunch of times. You're coming on the shows. All the little
Mhm.
like TMZ type
Yeah.
fighting YouTube stations, that I listen to when I work out, are all like your name's popping out of their mouth, and you're really infusing not just the female fight game, but the fight game with a little, shot of energy, like these people do who
Oh,
come and go. A couple weeks ago it was Patty, and then it was Ian Gary, and now Kayla Harrison's name on there.
yeah,
So
which
it's
is so
cool.
funny to me because I haven't fought since October. Usually you have like your you fight and then you get a little buzz and then it's over. But it's like people want to know what I'm going to do, I guess, which is exciting.
Has it been decided? Are you decided?
I mean, no. I mean, yes, I had a very big plan, kind of like an epic, like you want to be a legend, do this.
Right.
I
Right.
had a plan in my mind that it looks like is not going to happen. Um, but I still have a little bit of hope that it might. So I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to jinx it. But
I will tell. I'll tell you this. So, I'm a fight fan, but I'm really not a fight fan. I'm really a
mm,
UFC fan, and the reason why is because I spend 3 hours a week just on UFC stuff.
mm,
And so, like, if I want to go over and look at the Dallin Rasta over at Bellator, who pops on the scene, then
yeah.
then I have to start digging. And then I mean, I got a life too, right? I mean, I give Saturdays to the UFC, but I tell you this, man, uh, there are people who can transcend the sport and carry organizations. And like, no matter where you fight, I'll watch your next fight live and I'll pay for it.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I think a lot of people will. That's not me. I'm not like trying to flatter you like Sevon would do that. I'm just saying,
I'm
like,
not sure
I
if a lot of people will yet, but I know that I'm building. You know, I think that I have.
I mean, it helps that Amanda left your camp too. I mean, there's this, and I say that with no emotion or judgment, but there's this the narrative's getting thicker.
It is the plot thickens.
Yeah, you have the Olympian. Used to train with the former champ. You have Dana and the PFL. You know, all we can do is speculate that they're in a bidding war over. I mean, it's a fun story. As a fan, you're like, ooh, where's she going to land? Where I can't wait to see her go. And it must be freaking out your competitors.
I think I'm freaking everybody out. Everyone is just kind of like, I mean, you know, I think that
You're being courted by two handsome suitors.
three,
Three. Yeah,
five.
three are, yeah, right. Multiple handsome suitors. What do you
I
do?
got an
It's like
offer
worse than The Bachelor.
it is. It's insane. I got an offer to box and get paid multiple millions to box, and I'm like, you know that my background is grappling, not boxing. But it was.
Please
Yeah,
tell me
no,
you're going to fight Jake Paul. Please. Is that what that is?
I would do that for free. No, it's been quite an interesting couple of months for me, you know, a little bit chaotic, a little bit of a, I mean, the problem also is like, I'm not really like this. Like, this is not like, I just want to fight and I just want to become the best and I just want to put food on my table. And, you know, I have a lot to say. I have an opinion about certain things and I'm not afraid to be vocal and say what I want. But really, like at the end of the day, the real Kayla is the Kayla in the cage. You know, that's the truest form of me. That's me in my most pure self. Is
You're like,
getting
what? You're like, hey, how come I'm here? Just let me step here,
yeah,
here, here.
yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah,
does why is the road
yeah,
splitting so many ways
yeah,
here?
yeah. Why does everyone have to like mess this up? Like, why can't
Just
I
show me where to go and I'll go
just go?
stand there and
Yeah,
and solve
yeah,
the next riddle.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, life's a trip. The part of the book that really opened up a bunch of different stuff, and although I have 3 kids and they're very young, I fancy myself as a parent expert. I climb up on a ladder on my Instagram and preach like I'm the fucking king shit. And one of the things I tell people is you should never help your kids. And I'm speaking in hyperbole now. What you should do is when they fall down, you turn your back to them and make sure an alligator doesn't come out of the bushes to get them or that Uncle Buck doesn't get them. But your job is to protect them while they unfuck themselves. Your job is not to unfuck them. Your job, when you pick a child up, you're stealing an air squat from them. You're stealing a burpee from them. Do not steal a burpee from someone. And so when I read your book, part of me, it reinforces that for me. Like, hey, motherfucker, you are the ultimate caretaker and do not let anyone get to your kids. Your job is until your child can fight off an alligator, you are to fight off every alligator that comes in the room for them while they build their skill set. The part that really trips me out is if your parents beat you as a child, you think that's normal. And I don't know if you can ever right? Like
Yeah,
like everything that happens to you as a child is normal and perfect, even if
right.
it's the most horrific shit that
Of course.
can happen to man. And then so you have this relationship that you had with this gentleman is so fucking complex.
Mm,
And at one point in the book, the parental figures, your parents, your mom, and the people who love you, obviously, as this comes out, they want to kill this guy. That's a, but as you read it, you explain it so well that like, hey, that's not your place.
yeah.
It's so twisted because your life is,
No, I thought I loved him. I
yeah,
thought we
your life is normal being molested.
of
It's
course.
like, and you explain that, and I'm just like, I'm just torn in like 5 different directions. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
what, like, it's
It's
like
a
a,
complex the human brain is such a complex thing, and it's also, you know, as human beings, we're developed from age 0 to 7, and, grooming, and your brain is still developing as you're into your teen years and things like that, and I absolutely thought that we were in love. I thought that this was normal. I mean, I knew it wasn't normal because I had to keep it a secret, and I was disassociating and living 2 lives, and, like, all these different layers to it, and but there were so many layers to it that I was literally, like, suicidal, like, I knew part of my brain knew that it was wrong, and part of my brain felt shame and guilt and, like, inner turmoil, and part of my brain thought, "Well, this is love, this is love, this is love, and if someone loves you, then they do this to you." And
yeah, that's the part, right? That's the part.
yeah.
Every child has that. No matter what happens to you, this must be love, kind of.
Exactly, exactly, and that's why we have so many fucked up individuals
Excuse me.
roaming around our world, because whether you realize it or not, your brain stores that, your lizard brain, if you because when we're born, we need our caretakers, we need adults to survive. So when
Uh,
something happens, there's not your brain can't compute that there's something wrong with your caretaker or your coach or your brain computes there's something wrong with you, and you
this is part of
internalize.
survival. Yeah, get in where you fit in.
And so you say, okay, uh, I'm, in order to be lovable, I have to be perfect. Or in order to receive love, I need to do this. Or in order to survive, I have to be really quiet so that I don't make my mom and dad mad, because
Yes.
if I'm loud, then that's bad, So you internalize all this shit, and then you grow up and, like, you keep using those same survivor, tactics in the world, but, like, you don't have to be quiet, like, you're a grown ass woman, now you can speak your mind, but you don't, because you were taught that that's what you need to do in order to survive, and you don't even know that that's your coping mechanism, that that's your survivor tactic, like, you have no idea.
Right.
The brain is fucking wild.
When you say, do you drink any alcohol?
Occasionally.
When you say, I'm going to tie back to that in 1 second. When you say disassociate, what's that mean? In your book, you said that one time that you would get on the mat and disassociate. What?
It's like almost like your brain goes to a different place, like almost like a autopilot, or like a you're just not there anymore. For me, like, when I would disassociate, like, if I was being abused or something was like, my body would be there, but I would be, like, in a fucking meadow or something, like in a field and not there.
Do I know what that? How come I can't? I don't. I don't know what you're saying.
Maybe
You know
you
what I mean? I can't. Like if you were like, man, pull ups are hard. I'd be like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like
So
I
sometimes when you're a child, or when you've been abused, or when there's trauma, extreme trauma, so traumatizing that your brain can't handle it, it will take you out of that situation for you. It will help you survive the situation by like, if someone was raping me, my brain might go to that picture in my head. My brain might literally take me out of my body and put me in on that beach in that house with the wind blowing.
holy shit. That's Hey, and when you drink, so when I read that, I was trying to like contextualize it or like make it like relevant to my life. I've known these people in my lives who in this one woman particularly who I knew was sexually abused as a child, that she would reach a point where she would drink, you know, like six drinks in, and she was gone. She became this totally different person. Like it was just like, and I'm like, oh, this is, I mean, like it was like literally a different person. You might as well call her a different name.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if that's the same. I don't know if that's the same terminology. I've been like that. I've had phases of my life where I've gotten blackout and I've coped with the inner turmoil with that, you know, where I've you know, done drugs and drank and made really poor choices because I couldn't deal with the shit that was going on.
Do you have COVID? Did you just give me COVID?
No.
Everyone has it, don't worry.
Everyone has it. That's true. It is rampant right now again.
I feel Omicron just dripping off of me. California.
Yeah, you live there, huh?
Fuck.
What's that like?
Every store I go into, I'm the only dude without a mask. My kids are the only ones without masks. I live in a beach community. I live on the beach. Like my kids and I go in there barefoot. Everyone's like covered up.
Really?
Yeah, like they're in Syria.
Wow.
like everyone's dressed in the hijabs and
I don't even remember masks. Like to
oh,
we don't even have masks in the car or anything anymore. Like
I refuse to listen to you.
Yeah,
not true.
True.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, where's your dad passed away?
My stepdad, yeah.
Are you starting to go, why did I take this podcast?
No, no. See, this is the thing about me is like, I want to go deep. Like, I am not interested in superficial surface shit. Like,
oh my God, your hair looks so nice. I love it.
Thank you. This is my mom look. Before practice when I drop the kids off at school.
I'm glad you want to go deep and don't want to do superficial. Me neither.
Yeah. No, it's like, yeah. Can you imagine? I get asked the same 10 questions by every single reporter. Where are you going? Who are you leaning towards? What do you think? Can you make 145? You know, and then if I have a fight, it's how's your camp? How's your weight? What's it this? You know, like, are you going to fight Amanda? Are you going to fight Cyborg? Like, these are like, who gives it? Like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. My career is going to go how it's going to go. But like, yeah, like, let's talk about, dude, my dad killed himself. Let's talk about it.
Dude, your life is like, it's never. That's what happened?
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
23.
Hey, could I say something just totally outlandish?
Yeah.
Do you think that your dad did that because he was hurting children?
No.
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 Do you see where I'm? You see where I'm? Imbalance. Say that again.
I think he did it because he had a chemical imbalance.
Okay. I'm sorry just to come at you with that, but I think I you know where I was going with that, right? Like there's this like you were attracted to what the male figure was in your life.
Yeah. Well, this is why it's different. So my stepdad, who I grew up calling dad, was a great father. Very loving, but my mom and him had 2 other children. My real dad, my real father was an abusive alcoholic. He and my mother split when I was 3 months old. You know, he was abusive. And this is why I say from 0 to 7, you become who you are. But that was the love I was always seeking, was my real father's love. Okay. Into adulthood, mind you. Like I was in abusive relationships as an adult, like literally recreating my past. And
right. We all do that, by the way. Don't anyone think that you're like, don't anyone be like, no, I'm not going to marry my mom. You better watch out.
Your mom
and your dad.
You can't even help it. Yeah.
Right.
Your brain. And you know what's so funny is I've been doing a lot of work on myself, I guess you could say, especially since I got the kids. It became abundantly clear to me that I wasn't who I needed to be in order to be the best parent for them. Um, and I am hell bent on not making them Kayla Harrisons, actually. You know, I just want them to be I don't want them to be perfect. I don't want them to be great. I just want them to be human and whatever that means for them, you know, give them the best opportunity to be human. They've already had so much fucked up shit happen to them in their lives. Like, so I just want them to be okay. But I've been doing a lot of work on myself. And the crazy thing about our brain, again, is like, my dad abandoned me but lived a block away from me my entire life growing up, you know, and had 50-50 custody with my mom. Just didn't see me very often. I would see my grandparents all the time, his parents all the time, you know, and he would come in and out, and
I'd like to throw one thing in there, by the way, for all the grandparents listening. Her grandparents, from the little bit that she mentions them in the book, basically saved her life. Like they were rocks in her life on both sides. So if you have shitbag kids who have kids, you can still be good grandparents. Absolutely. It's important to be good grandparents. Okay.
Show up. Yeah. Show up for them. Because
Yeah.
You have no idea the difference you can make. Both of my grandparents, my Mimi and Papi and my mama and papa, they are still to this day, like my examples, you know, my shining examples.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted. So your dad abandoned you, even though he lived a block away. And when you say abandoned, basically he prioritized drinking over raising kids.
Yeah,
okay.
Drinking, fishing, hunting. And my mom didn't do a great job of, you know, my mom is not blameless in any of this. She didn't do a great job of, you know, she would like come in here, you know, listen to this voicemail from your father. And I'm 5 years old listening to my dad say, I'm not going to make it. I'm stuck out here hunting, da, 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 da. Like, you know, so she did a good job of making me not like him too, instead of protecting me from that and just being like, oh, like she would be like, oh, your dad's supposed to get you. I wonder if he'll show. Which is not really like, it's not, you know, my sister is a drug addict. She's supposed to FaceTime the kids every Sunday. She's not anymore because I'm done with it. But
that's going to be another interesting twist, guys. So I don't know if you're keeping track of this, but we have an 8 to 16-year-old who was molested by her. Is that the word to use? Do I use molested? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Molested by her judo coach. Dad abandoned her and killed himself. And then I don't know if it's chapter 3. Maybe it's all just the first chapter. And then she has now has 2 kids that call her mom because her sister couldn't raise the kids. And
no, I am their mom. I adopted them. It's official. So
she is her mom. And Kayla Harrison stepped up and adopted the kids, which you don't have to do, right? Like the judge isn't like, you take them, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess I can't imagine not, but
right,
yeah.
right. Okay, sorry. So I just wanted to keep putting the picture forward for the people.
What we're talking about.
So I want to know, how old were you when your dad passed away, when he killed himself?
My stepdad, I was 23.
Okay, so that was and so is your real dad still alive?
He's still alive.
And do you ever see him?
You know, occasionally. He very much wants to be a part of my life. You know, he found Jesus and he doesn't drink, I think, anymore. And, you know, basically when I was 16, I told my mom that I had been sexually abused. She went to my coach's house with a baseball bat, beat the shit out of his truck, pressed charges the next day. And a month later, I moved to Boston by myself.
That's all in the book, by the way, people.
Right, to train for the Olympics. And the day before I left for Boston.
And when she says she moved there, this is another crazy part. She didn't move there. Her mom fucking forced her to go there and dropped her off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine you've just gone through the 8 hardest years you're ever going to go through in your life. And it's horrible for both people. And her mom has to make the decision to take her away. I mean, what kind of wisdom is that? I mean, Okay, go on. I mean, it worked. It sounds like it was the right thing to do, but you would
Yeah,
think most parents would pull their kid close.
I mean, it was the right thing to do for me. I think, the Pedro saved my life. Judo saved my life. It all worked out for me, but my mother's relationship, like our relationship suffered major. Still to this day, you know, we're not it's not a mother-daughter relationship like you would hope.
For,
I love her and she loves me and I know it, but it's like I have a lot of resentment towards both of my parents. Like I was saying, the day before my mom shipped me up to Boston, my biological dad showed up and was like crying and telling me how much he loved me and
oh my God.
this, that, and the other. And I was like, I lost my shit. Like I was like, you're telling me this now? Like now? I don't like. And I've had this same conversation with him very many, when I won the Olympics, he's crying and wearing a My Daughter Won the Olympics shirt. And when he's like, I want to help with your foundation and this and that. And he's like, I really want to talk to you. I want to be there for you. And I'm like, you want to be there for me now? Like, I'm fucking 22 years old and I got my shit together. Like, I don't need you now. I needed you then. What do you mean you want to be there for me? Like, what? Because I have 2 gold medals? Like, I've lost my shit on him plenty of times. And I've lost my shit on my mom, too. Like, what person in their right mind drops a 16-year-old off with $200 in her pocket and a house full of men and 2 brand new coaches who's just been abused for 8 years? Like, I was raped for 8 years and you're just going to leave me there and say, good luck, honey. I hope it, like, what is, I've had plenty of conversations like that with them. But you know what else I have to do? I have to thank them. I have to say, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Because I wouldn't be who I am if you guys hadn't done what you did.
I know that's the crazy part.
I have to blame them. I have to blame them for the bad and the good. I am so beyond blessed in my life, and I am so mentally strong, and I am so rich in life. And that wouldn't have happened if they didn't make those decisions. Everything happened exactly how it was supposed to happen. So I have to blame them for that. I have to say thank you and be grateful for it.
Is that your bird or a bird outside?
It's my baby chick.
Oh, are you going to raise chickens?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, do you have some land, Kayla?
What's that?
Do you have some land? Like, how big's the property you live on?
No, it's not big. I'm actually looking right now for a little more. Here's my little.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So funny story about this. I had 5 baby chicks.
Uh-oh.
And I had we have 2 bigger chickens outside right now. And then we got some more. We were going to do it from the beginning to the end. So we got an incubator, we got the chicken, we got the eggs, 4 of them hatched. The kids named them. Emery named his chicken Nugget. Like we're, raising them. They're in a box in my moving room with the gate. And I have 2 dogs. So I said, my mom is here visiting. And I said, Mom, you just got to I went to practice. I said, Mom, you just got to make sure to close the gate. Make sure you close the gate. One of my dogs is a husky. Well, Monday, one of the gate did not get closed. So there was a massive slaughter and 4 baby chicks. 4 baby chicks are no longer with us. And this
Where did that one hide? Where did that one hide?
This was the last egg and we weren't sure it was going to hatch. We didn't think it was going to hatch. And then yesterday morning, voila. So this is
that's only a day old.
It's a day old. This is my little survivor.
Does your husky mess with the full grown chickens?
Oh, he tries to. Oh, yeah. Don't fall.
Kayla, so I signed my kids. So basically when my kids were young, I figured, hey, I want to get them as much adult interaction as I can, professional adult interaction. So I didn't care what their vocation was, whether it was ballet, this, that, or the other. I just wanted them in front of adults getting professional interaction. And one of the guys in my town who's friends with me, his name's Garth Taylor, and he has a place called Garth Taylor Jiu-Jitsu. He's been around forever. I think he was the first American to win the Brazilian heavyweight championships in Brazil. And he did it in 3 belts. So he's a cool dude, totally capable, awesome. And I've talked to him a ton of times and I love him to death. So I take my
Mhm,
kids there, but I take them to jiu-jitsu because not because, well, kind of I want my kids to be able to do three things: dance,
mhm.
fight, and play music so that they can court women and then defend women. Do you know what I mean? Like with dancing and
Ridiculous.
music,
This
and
is
then
a
be able
this
to,
this is that's a good formula, my friend.
right? Yeah, because you want them, and then I know that like people who are good at fighting, there's like a calmness and lovingness to them. Like all those guys in that community, even though I don't do it, like when they hug me, like they hug me. You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean? I'm like, whoa, they make me disappear. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I like all that. I'm Armenian, and that, and everyone's really touchy feely and nice there. So my kids do jujitsu, and I know they've been doing it now for 3 years. 5 days a week. It's just we're obsessed. And I
Yeah.
noticed that not only do they listen well, not only are they getting good at defending themselves and controlled aggression, and they're very confident, but they have this intimacy with other kids and adults that I can't even fathom. And when
Mm,
I first took my son to jiu-jitsu for the first 3 months, 3 days a week, he
mm,
wouldn't do any of the training. He would only do the warm-up because he said, I don't want those men touching me. And
mm,
I would say to him, yeah, I don't blame you. I don't want those dudes touching me either. But
mm,
but somehow he got over it. And now he's in this really intimate setting.
mm,
How is and I trip because I was watching that video where like you're I watched a video yesterday where you're hanging out with Masvidal, and you're
mhm.
so intimate with him. And then I watched a video like with you with other men, and not just men but women, and you're so intimate with them. Like you just touch them, or like there was a guy on the
Maybe
beach.
not healthy.
Well, how do you reconcile these things? You
Yeah.
have this thing, and you probably know this. I don't think a lot of people fully understand this. If anything a man does sexually surprises you, you do
Mm,
not understand men.
mm,
Even the most benevolent man, from the Dalai Lama to I don't care who you
mm,
hold in highest esteem, is
mm.
capable of bizarre, nutty shit. We are not a we are a one track pony, and everything else is a distraction. We're dead. Um, how do you? How are all of these things coming together so that you're going to have? I mean, are you going to be in a relationship ever again? You think, like an intimate relationship with a man? Like, how do you manage this?
I
Fuck
hope
these
so.
dudes. I know what you're about, and I have to roll with these guys. Like,
Yeah.
how is this all? Have you had training partners where you're like, "Fuck you, I ain't rolling with you no more. I don't like the way you."
No,
No.
no. I think that again, it's that level of comfort. First of all, this is how I grew up. I started judo when I was 6, and I was the only girl on the mat for years. So I literally have I don't know any different. And I think that also with maturity and like kind of learning how to manage myself, I'm able to discern like yeah, I'm very physically comfortable with like that. I'm a grappler. I don't know, like I hug people for a living, like
Yeah.
that's how it feels. Um but that's not to say that that's the same in my personal life. Like I have had to very firmly learn to set boundaries and learn to like listen to my own inner voice and my own needs. Like just because I'm used to it doesn't make it okay. Like if I'm uncomfortable, I need to say I'm uncomfortable, or I need to say like, hey, go fuck yourself. Um, but I haven't really ever had to. I mean, I've chosen partners that I shouldn't have been with, but I've never had to say to someone like, hey, don't fucking touch me. Like I've never, no one really ever crosses that line.
Like it didn't, after all, as you got older, from when, let's say you were 16, when you, would you say that, I guess when the healing began, or
Yeah.
something, there was the
Yeah.
massive change, that guy was out of your life, that there wasn't a like, so there was never a time where there were then people in the gym that you were like weary of, where like all of a sudden everyone was guilty.
Mm,
Everyone was trying to cop a feel.
well, that's the
All,
thing about sexual abuse is like it's not you become internally shameful. I thought there was something wrong with me. I felt like people were staring at me. I felt like I was dirty. I felt like I was to blame. I felt like,
yeah, that's
like
another thing in the book. No matter how many times you said, I could not get my head wrapped around it. I was like trying to like come up with ways in my life where it's like that, and I couldn't.
internal shame.
Or just like blaming, like I'm so quick to
self-blame.
blame it. Yeah, I'm so quick to blame everyone else. Fuck you. You took 2
That's
parking spots.
that's a good thing. That means you probably have a healthy level of self-love, you know, like a healthy level of like worthiness. That's 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 how humans should be, you know, you should value yourself. I didn't value myself. You know, I felt worthless and unlovable and unworthy and shame. Like, then those are all, again, those
Meanwhile, the entire world is loving you,
are
but you're just not open to it.
well, I just thought I had to earn it, you know? Again, it's another thing that made me who I am. Like, I felt like I had to earn love. I felt like you wanna be you wanna feel good about yourself, you wanna feel worthy of anything, then you have to go out there and earn it, which is not, you know, every human being has inherent worth and value, you know?
When you spoke to Mike Tyson, did his sexual abuse come up at all?
Mm-mm. I wish I had.
Yeah, I think he has a similar journey to yours. I mean, please slap me down if. Well, do you think it would be worse? Do you think it would be worse if it was a boy who was molested by a man?
I think that
Are
it's
there
a
degrees, or is
I
it
think
just
it's
like,
a
hey,
I think it's a different level of shame, you know? I think it's like a and our society puts a different connotation on it. Like, a woman being raped is not the same as a man being raped, like, because we don't like, it's the same way as if a man was sexually abused by a woman, like, if a boy was sexually abused by a woman, people don't take it as seriously for some reason. I'm like,
yeah,
"A child is a child is a child." Like, it doesn't fucking matter. You know, abuse is abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter. But for whatever reason, our society's like, "Oh, man, you got banged by the teacher, like, that's so cool." Like, you know? Like,
hmm. It's interesting that too. Same with when you try a child, like a child does something bad, like shoots up a school, and the
mm,
policeman comes on. He's like, "We're trying this child as an adult," and I'm like,
mm.
and like everyone's all excited. Like I'm not excited that that kid killed all those people. Don't get me wrong, but I'm
Right,
like,
of
whoa, whoa,
course.
whoa, whoa, why are we like what is this fucking a
Right,
Game of Thrones? You're
right,
excited that a child's being
right,
a 14-year-old's being tried as an adult? No, no,
right,
no. It
right.
doesn't matter what that child did. That's a child.
Exactly, and
That
obviously,
child needs to be
if a child is doing something like that, they have major, like,
yes.
traumatic or chemical shifts in their like, they're clearly not an adult.
My wife used to work at a juvenile hall. She taught yoga there.
Really?
Yeah, and she taught yoga at San Quentin, a bunch of like crazy places.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it, it wasn't healthy for her to see that because she saw just how bad people were treated. But one of the
Mm,
things was is she would say that there would be girls in there who were like young girls in there who were in the juvenile hall because of prostitution, and she's
mm,
like, These fucking girls didn't want to be prostitutes. Why are they being punished?"
mm,
It would like you. It's almost like if you would have been sent to jail.
yeah,
Let's say they would have found out you were charging this guy. It would have
yeah,
almost been like you were fucking
yeah.
sent to jail.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
like a yeah,
it's
no,
like I'm like,
it's a broken system. It's a broken system. Like,
yeah,
huge we don't we're not doing anybody any favors, you know, like any of these kids any favors. And that's the thing that, man, that's the thing I want to change. Like, shit, like, this kid isn't even like you take it like a down from like that's an extreme level, right? Like
right.
prostitution, killing people, and like that kid who's misbehaving at school or being an asshole at school, like he isn't being an asshole at school because he just wants to be an asshole at school. Like, something is happening, and it's our job, I think, as adults to try and figure out what it is to help him so that he doesn't end up in juvie or end up shooting up the school or end up, you know, like, that's why I think mental health and like, obviously I want to help end sexual abuse, but really I want to help end mental anguish, suffering for kids. Like, I want to help them learn how to kind of take back their life and not be a victim of their circumstance and learn how to regulate their brains, their emotions, understand what love is, understand what um their emotional needs are, understand what every human being needs at a very basic level, and also understand what it means to be successful and how you, if that is your desire, how you reach that. Like, all right, you're going back in your thing. Hang
How
on.
tall are you?
5'8".
And if you jumped on the scale right now, how much would you weigh?
Right now I'm like 165.
And is that a good training weight for you?
Yeah, I feel good here. I was a little bit leaner last year. I was like walking around 160, 158ish, just because I think for the 4 fights back to back to back to back, I was just constantly training. And between October and New Year's, I was just training once a day. And I took some time off. I was like, I actually enjoyed my life a little bit and wasn't a psychopath. So I put on a little bit of weight.
When you were in the Olympics, what weight did you
172.
and are you more comfortable at 165?
Yeah.
Like less inflammation?
Yeah, I was very thick at when I did judo. I moved up from 63 kilos, which is 138. I skipped 154, 70 kilos, and I went right to 78 because at the time, Rhonda was competing at 70 kilos and they didn't want their two best girls in the same weight class. So they bumped me up 2 weight classes. And I was a big girl. I was thick. It takes weight to move weight. So it wasn't like it was healthy. I don't feel as good. I didn't feel as good then as I do now, for sure.
In all your I went through your entire Instagram yesterday, all the way back to July. I don't know when it was, July something 2012. And in every single picture that like you're in a bathing suit or that you're wearing less clothes, you look thin.
Thanks.
You don't and what's interesting about that is, and I come from a world of CrossFit, right?
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon for a girl who looks relatively thin to me to be 5'2", 150 pounds.
Yeah.
But we live in this world. Like I listen to not anymore now that he's not now he's gone from Howard to coward. I used to listen to Howard Stern, and now he's just a full blown bitch.
Yeah.
He's a spreader of fear and hatred, and sad, pathetic man. But he used to say stuff like, women would call and he would be like, "How tall are you?" And they'd be like 5'5", and he'd be like, "How much do you weigh?" And they'd be like 115, and he'd be like, "Oh, that's a little heavy." And I'd be like,
"Are you crazy?" Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? What is wrong with people?
Like that's like veal. Like how would a woman would have to be like be kept in a hammock and not produce any muscle,
Yeah.
When you were when did you get strong? How old were you when you got strong? Do you remember that?
I mean, I went through every weight class growing up. I started judo when I was 6, and before I started judo, I was like a little roly poly. Like I was chunky. My nickname was Chunky Monkey.
Not cool, people. Don't name the kid that. Not cool.
And
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Siri.
For more info, check the home app.
Your Siri's a dude?
Yeah.
Nice job.
So I need some kind of mail.
And you still call him Siri. God, he's a bitch. Okay. Can you change his name?
I don't think so.
Oh, all right. Maybe Cyrano?
That's the only male affection I get these days. So he's fine. I like him how he is. He's good. I might give him a British accent soon just to spice it up.
He's a good dude. Okay, so you started at 6 years old. I mean, do you think of yourself as strong?
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm saying when
the baddest bitch on the planet. Yes.
And when did that happen? Like, are you 12 years old and you're rolling with someone? You're like, holy fuck, I'm strong. I throw these fucking.
Picture of me like when I'm 6 and I'm like this little tubby thing, and then there's a picture of me when I'm 8 on the monkey bars and I have like traps. And I remember
How old was that? Sorry.
8. By the time I was 8, I was like getting physically strong, and then I started doing 2-a-days when I was 12 years old. I literally, when I was in 6th grade, I broke my shoulder. I broke my scapula, my shoulder blade in 2 places because I was trying to throw someone and my muscle, my bones still had like growth. Some was part cartilage, some was bone, like because I was so young. My muscle was so strong that I was trying to throw this big fat dude and I snapped my scapula in 2 places because my bone overrode my muscle overrode my bone.
That's nuts.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's different than the accident you had with your where he fell on you and broke your collarbone.
Yeah, I broke my arm and my collarbone. Yeah, and that one.
Excuse me, real quick. I try not to read the comments during the show. Michael Gesfeld, Howard Stern has matured. With a little luck, it'll happen to you as well. Hey, go fuck yourself. Thank you. So wow, so that is strong. So you knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. One more. Sorry, one more. I hope I never fucking mature. I hope I fucking turn into a 2-year-old and start shitting my pants. Thank you. Okay.
The older I get, the more I realize we're on a path to nothing.
Oh, good. Me too.
Like, that's just what I want to be. Just nothing.
No thing. Yes, my wife tells me before I go on the show, because sometimes I get really wound up. She goes, "You are nothing. You are." I mean, my yoga wife. You are no thing.
I would definitely like your wife, I think.
Yeah. You have fur. You have fur on you. Okay, so you know at that point. Okay, at 12, you know, and at that point you said you're rolling with fat dudes, so you're not even rolling with your peer group, other 12-year-old girls.
I mean, there were no other 12-year-old girls, but I also started competing in the senior divisions when I was 12. So I was 105 pounds. When I was
what does that mean? Senior divisions, like 18-year-olds,
like the adult, like the divisions, the adults. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got my black belt when I was 13. I started traveling overseas to like the big girl, like the legit international competitions when I was 13, 14. When I was 14, I made the Olympic trials. I qualified for the Olympic trials. I didn't compete because the weight class didn't qualify and I couldn't make weight anymore. I was like starving. I was 14 and still trying to make 105 pounds. So then boom, I bump up to 52 kilos and I bump up to 57 kilos and I bump up to 63 kilos. All between 14 and 16, I moved up that many weight classes.
How tall are you at 14? You think you were done growing?
No.
Okay.
6'5", 6'7". I was still big. And I like 105 pounds at like, I was like maybe 2 inches shorter than I am now. And
60 pounds less.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. It was miserable. I was like literally starving. I was going to school with like spinach salad and a plum, and all my friends are eating, you know.
2-time gold medalist, as we said, in judo. First American ever to win a gold medal in judo. Not just 2 gold medals, but 2 separate Olympics. Also won the Professional Fighting League championship twice. Won $1 million both times, which probably after taxes and paying her coaches still doesn't make her a millionaire. So stop saying that when you introduce her, people, because the government takes fucking everything. Were you tripping on how much money they took?
Oh yeah, don't get me started on that.
Were you tripping?
I was I was devastated. I was like, wait, but I earned that. Like, yeah.
I didn't make $1 million one year, but one year I made $960,000. And when I saw how much money they fucking took, I was like, for all you people who are like, tax the rich, I'm telling you, I would have spent, or like, even I saw yesterday, they're like, this money was wasted on elections. It's not wasted, guys. When people spend that money, let me tell you what's wasting money. Giving it almost always to charities. You want to give someone a charity, give a fucking $20 bill to the guy who pours your latte, who's 16 years old, working 3 fucking jobs. to stay in high school because he has 2 fucking alcoholic abusive parents. Tip his tip jar $20. I was never like in my house when I had all that money just burning it. I was spending that shit. Giving it to my gardener, my electrician, my carpenter, the nannies. I was spending my money. And you want me to give it to fucking Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, dang, do I spend money now?
Fuck you. I don't want Nancy Pelosi getting my money. If I saw a hot dog vendor and I saw a musician and I saw a homeless guy all next to each other in San Luis Obispo, California, in a college town. And the hot dog vendor was offering food. The musician was offering entertainment. And this homeless guy, it's another profession. He's not even homeless. That's a mischaracterization. He's a drug addict. There are no homeless people. I was homeless. And like, who am I going to give my money to? I think I'll buy a hot dog and give it 20 to the musician. And if I really care about the homeless guy, I'll talk to him and try to change his life. I won't give him $20 so he can go buy more heroin. I'll sit down with him and I'll be like, yo, what's up, dude? You deserve better than this. And I'll believe in him and give him love. So maybe he can get the fuck up and do something with his life. Because I know if I give him $20, he's going to buy a 6-pack. Sorry, this show's about you. I just sometimes get a little.
No, I can't say it better myself. Preach.
Yeah. All right. So can someone be great without having their fucking being tortured?
I don't know.
Can anyone do what you've done and not have pathologies? And when you're in the ring, let's just expand on that too. Are you like when you're fighting someone? Is it like that's the world you're fighting that dealt you the shitty hand? No, that's not Uncle Buck.
It's very cold and calculated. It doesn't feel like there's no emotion involved when I fight.
Wow.
In judo and fighting, there's nothing. I become like this. There's no emotion. I just want to go out there and instill my will. But it's not like an angry, I want to kill you. It's just like, I want to win.
Are you in touch with your will?
My will? I think so.
You might find this hard to believe, but I bet you 99% of the public, 0.999, is not in touch with their will.
Why do you say that?
I just think most people are on autopilot. They have no fucking idea.
But that's my whole point. That's what my purpose is, man. Like, fucking own who you are. Like, figure it out. Just go within. Yeah, man, yeah. Like, what?
How do I make that first step to go in?
Daily habits. My number one thing is daily habits. If I want to create change, I have small daily habits in order to create that change. You know, I'm not talking about like, oh, I want to be Olympic champion, so I focus on being Olympic champion. I have small daily habits that create that Olympic champion. And this is like internal and external goals, by the way. Like internally, I want to become more, I want to love myself more. So what are things that I do I meditate every day.
Can you tell me what that looks like?
For me, I wake up a half hour before the kids because I want to do it before my brain turns on. I want to do it when I'm in my most kind of like state. So I wake up a half hour before the kids. Sometimes I use an app like there's this Insight. I can't remember what it's called.
They don't pay you enough to say their name anyway. Meditation apps, please contact Kayla Harris's management and she will get behind your meditation app. Thank you.
Yes, please contact me. It is a really great app though. And they have all different, I maybe pick something that I want to focus on, or sometimes I just try and meditate by myself. I'm not the best at calming my mind, quieting the mind. Another thing I've been doing lately, which I absolutely cannot stand, never used to be able to love, like used to hate with a passion, but have been doing a lot lately, which has become a form of meditation, is running, just trying to focus on my breath while I'm running. So I
hated focusing on your breath, or you hated running?
I hated running. I'm not a huge, I'm a big girl. Like a lot of hurt, pain, a lot of pain in the knees.
Yeah.
I've also had reconstructive knee surgery, so I wasn't a big fan. But it turns out when you get 2 kids and your house is never quiet and everyone's always screaming for mom, that you enjoy focusing on your breath. You enjoy the peace of just putting one foot in front of the other.
My wife, she's also a breath coach, and it's like breathing and focusing on your breath is something I spend so much time doing every day. Anytime anything gets squirrely, I go straight to my breath, which is like every 10 minutes.
Absolutely. That is that is a great daily habit. Like, if anything, that's what I'm teaching my son right now. You know, he's in the tantrum stage. He's in the, I want what I want stage. And, I look at him every single day, I'm like, Emery, let's take 3 deep breaths, and he'll do it. Like, sometimes he's like, but he's learning to regulate his inner turmoil with breathing. So that's a great daily thing. What else do I do? I write down my goals every year. What do I want to achieve? What do I want to accomplish? I write down 3 things inside, 3 key areas of focus for me to focus on. I do that with, fighting. I do that with my personal goals. I work, again, you said you want your kids to be around adults. I work with people who are good at what I want to be good at. So I surround myself with mentors, with people who I think who are where I want to be, whether it's in fighting, whether it's in parenting, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in whatever area that I'm trying to get better at. I have a therapist. Like, I think mental health is just as important as physical health. So, I do my mental reps every day the same way I go to the gym and do my physical reps.
Do you have a money mentor?
I also have financial advisors. I have a money mentor. I have, a financial advisor who watches the financial advisors. Like,
yes. I put $10,000 in each of my kids' accounts when they were born in these mutual funds, and basically they'll double every 7 years. So when they're 77, they'll have $11 million each.
Yep.
And if they die before then fuck them. As long as they don't die before me.
Yeah, daily habits, small daily things. Like, I'll give you last. I have to go. I have another appointment, but
it's going to be downhill from you from here.
For sure. This is great. A great way to start my day. I have a daily habit tracker. So I pick 4 things that I want to focus on. I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Monday, Tuesday. Someone showed this to me. And I pick out what I'm going to do. So meditate. Right now I'm focusing a lot on internal since I don't have a fight. I'm just training every day, trying to get better. But my 4 daily things are right now, I'm going to meditate every day. I'm going to journal every day. I'm going to write down 3 things that I'm grateful for every day. And I'm going to list out loud the reasons that I love myself every day.
Oh, is that last one really important?
If you don't know how to love yourself, it is.
Yeah.
You sound like you love yourself pretty good. Like,
oh yeah.
I don't know. Do you?
Too much. I live a really good life.
But that doesn't mean you love yourself.
I think I do. What if I'm lying to myself? Step 1. Accept your line. Listen, I have too many notes to not ask you to come on again sometime.
I would love to.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, so she's 12-0. You definitely, her words, not mine, but I echo them. This is the baddest bitch on the planet. If you have kids, you should read this book.
Please.
And the book's broken into 2 parts. It's kind of 2 stories going on at the same time. It's her story, which is written in one kind of font, and then sort of the psychiatric perspective of it and how to help and heal and all sorts of other things in another font. It's called Fighting Back. This is a woman at 31 who's had more experience than maybe whole tribes have had. An incredible story. Please follow her on Instagram. So you want to get on the Kayla Harrison bandwagon. We are late to the party, but the big shit, like really fucking gnarly shit's about to happen. So
it's about to go down.
Go back, watch some of her videos, watch her time at the Olympics. So much more to talk about. Holy cow. We didn't even get into like the superficial stuff. I'm dying to. She knows. One last thing.
My hair. We talked about my hair.
Her she knows everybody in the business, but her Instagram is not full of any of those people, which is kind of crazy. Like there's one sighting of Khabib. There's like one, I didn't see any Henry. I didn't see like any Ronda. Like, and you've done it all with all of these greats. I mean, you come from an insane pedigree. So yeah, there it is. Judo Kayla. All right, girl. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hey, have a great rest of your day.
All right. I'll be in touch.
Sounds good.